Hello. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. So I was guided to do this message. It was from a download, basically about people not being able to mind their business. But this is like just to show people because this is kind of going to get caught up, get some people caught up. Hopefully not in the same karmic loop. But this is like to help people get out of the karmic loop, go ahead and because actually this isn't just applied to the heart chakra and relationships. This could be applied to anything, but I'm just using relationships as an example because it's a lot of interference right now, and it's going to be a lot of interference. It's going to get a lot worse in the next couple of months as far as it's almost like an attack on relationships, and it's not just coming from exes, it's coming from friends, family, and it's also coming from people who have absolutely nothing to do with either person. Like I said, this could be used for anything because one thing that messages that I have gotten strongly is a lot of people are the people who've done the work or people who are in the process of doing the work now, they're going to be coming into union, with the person that they're meant to be with or a good energetic match for them. But the thing is, the frequency is constantly going up, and the people who haven't done the shadow work, because you have to clear out that first through the fourth chakra, up to the heart. The people who haven't done that, they're just going to, as it continues to go up, they're just going to get more and more triggered, and it's going to be more and more projections. Just like now, it's almost difficult to find any conversation that's not centered around gossip or talking negatively about someone. But a particular thing that I picked up on is especially with karmic masculines, women who have moved on and trying to do their healing work. It's like exes, especially if you meet someone, exes are just going to try to force their way back in. It's like even friends and family, as soon as someone meets somebody, everybody has something negative to say. It's almost like, well, if they're in a child wounds or their old traumas aren't healed up, they don't want to see anybody else be happy. It's the crab in the barrel mentality is getting terrible. But this is the thing as far as, because this is so people won't get caught up in the same loop because they're going to be landed on thick because the subconscious mind is all knowing. So some of these exes, they subconsciously picking up that the person is moving on and healing. And it's just like a latching on. Everybody right now is just trying to latch on enforceably. And like I said, those wheats and tares getting obvious now. But now this is the example I'm going to give. Now, when I had got out of my second really, really, really bad relationship, it ended horribly. And that was a relationship that it was already a split. And I fell, for the go do this and do that. Got back together again, and it ended up worse. That split was worse than the first, because that's usually how it is. If you don't get the lesson the first time, when it comes back around, it's usually worse. So I was looking at all the years that I had spent. I had to pretty much start over from scratch. And at the time, I had already started my spiritual journey, which what that was, that's because that energy knocked us way off. But instead of getting mad, because like I said, it ended horribly. But it was two things that kept sticking out to me. And it was two things that I heard. It was like the universe always works for your highest good. And if you change the way you view things, you can change the reality of it. So at the time, I didn't think anything of it. I just directed the question inward. And I asked exactly like this. I was like, what was the purpose of this? And I honestly didn't expect anything out of it. But by the end of the week, I had actually got an answer. And 2 days later, after I got the answer, I got a confirmation on exactly why I had to go through it. And what I was shown, it took me back to my childhood. And it took me through some traumatic experiences I had as a child. And I didn't even recognize it, but it had blocked my root, sacral, and my solar plexus. So all of my lowest chakras had blockages in them. And you know, the chakras, they receive, assimilate, and transmit energy. So I'm constantly projecting out childhood wounds and trauma. Like attracts like. So that's what I was attracting to me. It's also people who had unresolved traumas that they hadn't dealt with. So that's when I realized, and see, that's where a lot of your empath narcissist relationships come in too. But the bottom line is, I was kind of shocked because that's when I realized at that point that the relationship really had nothing to do with him. The relationship was to show me what I needed to work on so that I can then attract the type of relationship that I was looking for, because what I was looking for, I wasn't energetically aligned to get. And I was like, well, I'll be damned. So that's it, you know. And I'm like, I could have done it like I had always done, you know, of course, be mad and, you know, play the victim, which, I mean, like I said, it was horrible. That's a long story on that one. But knowing that, because that's when it clicked on me, like, okay, Earth is a school. I'm like, that's how you give tests. So I'm like, that's crazy, because had I not done that, and that was simply, it wasn't like I was in a deep Zen meditation. I was literally just daydreaming, which is, don't underestimate daydreaming, because what that does is that does relax the mind, and you're not just trying to steal the mind, you're just relaxing. So it's basically just you paying attention to what comes in and your higher self, because when you direct a question inward, you're going to get an answer. Definitely every time get an answer. So what I end up doing after that, I was like, okay, well, this really works. So I said, I wonder if it'll work for other things. So I went back to certain like things that happened, and I would direct the questions inward. Why did such and such happen? I got an answer every time. Every time you direct that question inward, your higher self is going to answer you. So that should actually be the first person you go to. The first person, direct the answer inward. Ask your higher self, because you'll get an answer. And what? Why are you coming in here tiptoeing? Girl, I told you I'm recording. Kids. Anyway, made me lose my train of thought. But yeah, like I said, once you do that, you actually heal from that, and that takes you out. Once you work on the chakras or work on whatever needs to be worked on, that elevates you. That's like passing another test. And there's always a reward on the other side of that door. Every time you take something like a traumatic experience, which is just a test, and you figure out the purpose of it and you heal from it, it's almost like the universe is like, Good job. And it's always a reward. It's always something better on the other side. So the type of relationship that you want, you can actually attract that. Because, I mean, a lot of people don't, I'm not saying, of course it's for anybody, but you never give up hope. Because some people, they don't find the one until after they've been married, had all their children, and divorced. I mean, it happens a lot. Some of the happiest families I've seen are blended families. And once you do the work and you do that healing, it doesn't matter if the person who's a good energetic match for you, it doesn't matter if they're on the other side of the world, because the entire universe will conspire to bring those two people together. It's how it happens. But let me also give you the flip side of that. Now, when this is something that, I'll be talking a lot on this. This is something that a lot of people who are doing the shadow work are dealing with. Now, if you're doing the shadow work, and this is especially going on within families and close friend groups, if you think that the people that are used to being around you aren't going to react or respond or notice when you're doing the shadow work, wrong. Say, like, if you have like the family that you spend the most time with, if you were around family who had blockages in those chakras themselves, by you healing, now you're projecting out healed, higher vibing energy. So now your energy is clashing with theirs. And problem with that, sometimes people don't even realize they're doing it. They think they're helping you, but they're really not. This is when you have family and friends that constantly want to talk about things in the past. Excuse me. Reason why they do that, they want to bring up things in the past, or maybe or your failures or something like that. That's to bring your frequency back down, because see, right now you're making them uncomfortable. Your energy is triggering them. Sometimes they may know, some of them may not know, but either way, you're triggering them. That's why sometimes, especially when you go around like messy relatives or maybe like elders who gossip a lot, and as soon as you walk in, say you hadn't saw them for a while, you doing fine. As soon as you walk in, everybody's bringing up the past. They're bringing up the past to bring your energy back down so you won't trigger them, which is like now, you see the frequency on the planet is higher now. And now everybody's triggered. The people that are triggered and gossiping and this overabundance of spell work that's going on, that's from the people who are refusing to do the work. And right now, what I notice even is getting so bad within a lot of families, because when you upgrade yourself, you have to upgrade the people that you're around. Because if not, all they're going to do is just nitpick. It's just going to be constant, trying to bring you back down to that lower frequency so they can be comfortable, because you're triggering and you're uncomfortable. Now, say if you're in a family dynamic, this is another biggie right now, and you say, okay, well, this is too much. You remove yourself from that dynamic. You most likely probably being gang stalked, because sometimes it takes that for you to realize that you being in a lower vibe and your unhealed wounds, your unhealed energy was literally feeding and sustaining your whole family. I said, seriously, when everything really started shifting with me, I literally had a family member put a life insurance policy on me, and all kind of sick shit was going on behind the scenes. that's another video too. We'll be talking about that. But like I said, the worst, most vile, this demonic stuff I saw literally came from people that I was trying to take with me. So like I said, continue the work, because these folks, you just need to separate yourself. And that is definitely what's being called for now, to separate yourself, especially if you're getting guidance to move. I had some dreams. I'm going to do a separate video on that, because all the dreams that I having are like revolving around moving, or like family setups. So a lot of people are being guided to move. So even if you are being guided to move, if you're not given, if you can't see all the steps up front, don't worry about that. That's usually not how guidance is given. It's given you piece by piece. Don't let that deter you, or being too scared to go into the unknown because you can't see every step. You're not supposed to right now. So let me see. I think, oh Lord, this kid is about to start coming up the room. So I think that's it.
What are you doing?
I'm recording, son. Yeah, what you doing? All right, so that's it for right now. I think it'll probably be later, because I did want to discuss those dreams, because if you are getting those dreams, because I am getting a lot of people, you are in places that you do not want to be in, because I'm not sure if you've been seeing it, but things have been making themselves like really, really visible in the sky, big time. So that change is here. We're at the end of the cycle. So that first through that fourth chakra, like I said, just figure out, ask yourself in, and just look at everything, look at all your difficulties, stuff that you're faced with right now. Just look at it like a test, and just be like, ain't no way in hell I'm passing that test, instead of, getting down and all that to get your frequency down, because right now they have energies on the planet, and they are scrambling, and they are fighting hard and doing everything to keep you at a low frequency so you can get left behind, because they know that we're at the tail end of the cycle. So, see you in the next.